Welcome, folks, to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka, and Bitcoin pumping like a mofo again. On today's show, Bitcoin won't stop at 150,000 this year. Research firm chief says, buy everything you can, says Mexican billionaire Ricardo Salinas, who now holds 70% of his personal portfolio in Bitcoin. The future of Bitcoin, Michael Saylor, envisions market cap climbing to $200 trillion. And our feature story of today, we've been waiting for this one, boys. BlackRock issues Bitcoin supply shock warning, says there's not enough coins for U.S. millionaires. All this and so much more on today's show. Welcome, folks, to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. Today is March 4th, 2025, and Bitcoin is pumping in the green, thank goodness. Tariffs, 25% on Canada and U.S. started today at midnight, but did not phase the crypto market. The usual financial market, everything's down. Nasdaq's down, NYSE down, S&P down, huge. But Bitcoin is a pumping, baby. So let's get right into our market watch and Bitcoin technical analysis to take a closer look. And I'm really excited about today's stories a little later on. Bitcoin right now up 4.5%, 87,772. Ethereum up 5.5%, 2,184. Solana up 5%, $144. XRP up 8.5%, $2.49. Doge up 5.5%, 20 cents. Pretty much everything's up 5.5% today. Good times. Let's go into our crypto bubble so we can get a better visual on what's happening in today's markets. We've got, I was going to say 100% in the green, but I'm going to have to go with 98%. I see a couple outliers. ADA up 21%. That is Cardano. PLSX up 15%. AVE up 21%. BCH up 14%. Link up 9%. XRP up 9.5%. Ethereum up 5%. Hype up 6%. PLS 10%. Yeah, good times today. Zooming out to the weekly, we have sadly the opposite, about 90% in the red for the week. H-bar, the clear, Cardano up 40% actually. H-bar up 26%. PLSX up 22%. And zooming out to the monthly, this is starting to get a little more even than it was the past couple weeks. We've got, I would say, about 70 in the negative and 30 positive, maybe 60-40. The big winner is Tril, 68%. We've got Sonic, 48%. Cardano, 52%. PLSX up 50%. Maker up 53%. Let's get into the market cap for today. Bitcoin currently sitting at 1.738 trillion. It just flipped. Ethereum at 262 billion. XRP at 145 billion. Solana 73 billion. Cardano 34 billion. Doge 30 billion even. Tron in the number 10 position at 21 billion, and Pi, wow, at $12 billion, flipping Hardera. Amazing. Let's check out the total crypto market cap currently sitting at $2.84 trillion, with Bitcoin holding 61.23% of that, Ethereum at 9.25%, XRP up over 5% at 5.1% of the total crypto supply, and all the others combined are 8.5%. We are currently sitting still in extreme fear at a 20. Yesterday it was a 15 in extreme fear, and last week a 21 in fear. There's currently approximately 1,135 days left until the next Bitcoin halving. There's 163,648 blocks left to mine until that time, and until the last block is mined in the year 2140, there's 1,167,650 Bitcoin left to mine. The top assets by market cap, including commodities, we've got gold at $19.6 trillion at number one, Apple 3.5 Tril, Microsoft 2.888 trillion, Nvidia just behind them 2.83 trillion, Amazon in the number 5 position 2.1 trillion, Google 2.092 trillion, silver 1.8 trillion, Saudi Aramco 1.7 trillion, exactly 1.736 trillion, and then Bitcoin right under them in the number 9 position at 1.715 trillion. And Meta holding on to number 10 overall at 1.6 trillion. You can currently get 1,139 Satoshis for one fiat US dollar. And the clock keeps on ticking. Currently, the US national debt is at 36,555,741,000,000, which equals 107,375 per U.S. citizen, and that equates to 323,047 per U.S. tax dollar. Big bucks everybody owes, according to the government. Let's hope they don't come back and say, "Where's our money? We need to pay it back," because no one's going to have it. That's not going to be the case. They're just going to keep printing more money to pay off the debt, and so on and so on, and the cycle will continue. Let's see what the current U.S. administration does about it. We all know that they are planning, and they announced a crypto, not just Bitcoin, but a crypto 5 token strategic reserve. So the idea will be to use that, specifically Bitcoin, to help pay off the national debt. So let's see where they go with it. Now, there's some great predictions. Everything's bullish today in the news. And let's start off with Bitcoin won't stop at 150,000 this year, says research firm chief. A well-known market analyst believes Bitcoin is on track to reach new heights this year. Tom Lee, the co-founder of Fundstrat Global Advisors, expects the cryptocurrency to do better than 150K by the end of the year. His latest comments came as Bitcoin struggles with recent volatility, but remains a popular investment choice among institutional and retailer traders. The co-founder of Fundstrat expressed his opinions on CNBC's Squawk Box, referencing a variety of favorable fundamentals for the price of Bitcoin. In recent months, the top coin has had a lot of ups and downs. In February 2025, the top cryptocurrency saw a nearly 24% decline, which caused some investors to lose faith. Never lose faith, folks. That is when you should be buying the dip. I keep talking about it. In spite of this, the current price of Bitcoin is nearly $84,500. During the day, it fluctuated between a high of $90,000 and a low of $82,000. Lee, nevertheless, is unconcerned with the fluctuations and thinks that BTC's long-term prospects surpass its short-term declines. Yep. Institutional support and broader adoption, growing participation of significant financial actors is one of the main causes of Lee's confidence. Companies like Citadel have entered the crypto space to give Bitcoin more legitimacy. The Alpha Coin's use case gets stronger for future expansion the more conventional institutions interact with digital assets. I think Bitcoin makes a beeline back toward its long-term trend line, which is probably 82,000 in the near term, 150,000 for the end of the year, says Fund Strats Tom Lee, as BTC closes in on its all-time high. Other financial behemoths also show great optimism for Bitcoin. Both Bitwise and Standard Chartist projected Bitcoin to reach 200,000 in 2025. Such forecasts support Lee's point of view and confirm that Bitcoin still has a lot of space to expand. Government influence on Bitcoin's future. Regulatory decisions could also play a role in Bitcoin's performance this year. United States Donald Trump recently declared his intention to establish a strategic cryptocurrency reserve. This action suggests that the government is becoming more interested in digital assets, which could affect market sentiment and raise prices. Yeah, baby. At the same time, regulatory uncertainty still influences changes in the price of Bitcoin. Even the institutional usage is growing. Market observers will closely monitor any changes to regulations that may have an impact on the future of cryptocurrencies. Long-term holding versus short-term trading. Lee tells people who want to invest in Bitcoin to think about the long run. I've been talking about it forever. You want to hodl through the 4-year cycles if you really want to make some coin. He says that there are often short, unpredictable bursts of growth for the coin. He says it's dangerous to try and time the market. Yep. Instead, it might be smarter to hold on to Bitcoin for the long term. Bitcoin's price isn't stable at all, but buyers are still interested in it because it has a history of strong recovery. If Lee is right, 2025 could be another big year for the biggest coin in the world. Yeah, and he's, let's just talk about predictions here, because my prediction is kind of in line with what these guys are talking about. Not too high, not too low. So I've got my price prediction based on historical trends. And this isn't cooperating right now by shrinking on me. Regardless, when we go into the history of the halving events, we've got an 8x between the halving date and the actual cycle peak. And that was in between 2016 when the halving event took place and 2017 close to November. Then the next halving after that was very similar. So we had an 8x between 2016 and 2017, and the next was a 7x, as you see that I have shown there. And these prices went from the halving price on the day of the halving of 7,415 in 2020 all the way up to over 60. It was really $69,000, and that was, according to my calculation, a 7x. So when going into my prediction, I've made two predictions. One, let's go conservative with a 3.5x from the halving price. The halving price, day of the halving, was 60,000, and 3x from that is 220,000 even. And a 6x from that price is 378,000. So that's my range, and I hope we see it. Let's really see what happens. We can't necessarily make any kind of future predictions, but we can go back in history and see what's happened in the past, try to make some, educated guesses on where the price might go next, as well as what the strategists are saying. Now, one guy, first, let's talk about people taking their money out of the market. I'm talking about the traditional financial market, and flipping their money into cash or flipping their money into Bitcoin. So we've got Warren Buffett, who has completely taken everything he's got out of the stock market, and he's gone strictly into cash because he believes everything is overbought, and the price to earnings ratio is currently 26 to 1. So it's 26 times what the actual stock is worth. So if a company's worth $100, the stock's trading for 2,500. So historically, 15 times is really where they should be at. So it's way over that right now, through the roof, and he doesn't trust it. So he sold everything he's got in terms of stocks, and he's gone into cash. Now let's go into another friend, and this friend is a little more Bitcoin friendly. It is Mexican billionaire Ricardo Salinas, who now holds 70% of their portfolio in Bitcoin. The telecom and retail tycoon, who we see in this picture here, now holds most of his liquid assets in cryptocurrency, a substantial increase from previous allocations. Ricardo Salinas, Mexican's telecom and retail magnate, worth an estimated $5.8 billion, has ramped up his Bitcoin investments to constitute 70% of his liquid portfolio. The billionaire revealed his hefty crypto allocation during a recent Bloomberg interview. In my personal portfolio, the one I manage myself, I'm pretty much all in, Salinas told Bloomberg. I've got about 70% in Bitcoin-related exposure and 30% in gold and gold miners. Oh, so he's all commodity. He's Bitcoin and gold, and also doesn't trust the stock market. I don't have a single bond, and I don't have any other stocks except my own. The revelation remarks a significant escalation in Salinas' cryptocurrency bet, registering a 10% increase from his reported holdings back in 2020. By 2020, in the middle of the post-pandemic fears, Salinas announced he had allocated 10% of his liquid portfolio to Bitcoin. By that time, Bitcoin had dipped nearly 60% between February and March, touching ground at $3,800 before spiking nearly 500% to the end of the year to $29,000, according to data provider CoinGecko. Bitcoin was recently trading near $88,000. That percent jumped to 60% by 2022 when he announced during the Bitcoin 2022 conference in Miami that the majority of his liquid investments were in Bitcoin and Bitcoin equities. I want to thank the Bitcoin conference for giving me the opportunity to speak about what's next. It was a pleasure to meet you all. Please don't put your future in government's hands. You and I know how does that always end. Stay away from fiat money. Invest in Bitcoin. Yeah, so there you have it. Talk about whales. The $6 billion man. Was it 6 or 60? Yeah, it was 6 billion, 5.8 billion. He's got some big bucks, and 70% in Bitcoin, 30% in gold. Speaking of somebody else who has big bucks, we're talking about the $50 billion man, Michael Saylor. The future of Bitcoin, Michael Saylor envisions market cap climbing to 200 trillion. So putting that in perspective, the total worldwide, all assets combined right now is approximately 900 trillion. So let's see what our friend Saylor has to say here. In a recent interview with CNBC, Michael Saylor, co-founder of Strategy, reiterated his bullish outlook on Bitcoin, predicting the cryptocurrency could reach a staggering 200 trillion market cap. Saylor forecasts $10 million Bitcoin, currently valued at about 2 trillion. Saylor believes Bitcoin's trajectory will see it grow to 20 trillion and eventually hit 200 trillion mark, translating to an approximate price of 10 million per BTC based on its capped supply of 21 million coins. Saylor attributes the potential growth to a global shift in capital investment, stating that capital is coming from overseas, from China, from Russia, from Europe, from Africa, from Asia, from the 20th century to the 21st century. His forecast comes against the backdrop of President Donald Trump's recent announcement regarding the creation of a crypto strategic reserve, which would include BTC alongside Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Cardano, which ignited a heated debate within the financial and crypto circles. While Saylor acknowledges the appeal of a Bitcoin-only reserve, he supports Trump's broader strategy that encompasses multiple cryptocurrencies. He emphasized that There's no way to interpret this other than this is bullish for Bitcoin and is bullish for the entire U.S. crypto industry. Although some conservatives, such as Coinbase's CEO Brian Armstrong and Gemini co-founder Tyler Winklevoss, have advocated for more restrictive Bitcoin-centric policies, Saylor noted that the president's approach allows for a more inclusive economic policy. Saylor dismisses volatility concerns. When asked about his involvement with the White House, Saylor confirmed he has been in discussions with various lawmakers, both Democratic and Republican, as well as members of the cabinet and administration. For the last 4.5 years, I've been talking about Bitcoin to anybody, anywhere in the world, every day, Michael Saylor stated during his interview, highlighting his commitment to promoting the cryptocurrency. Saylor argues that establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve could provide the United States with significant economic advantages, including the potential to alleviate the national debt. Saylor posits if the United States takes a position in the emerging crypto economy, if it buys up to 10 or 20% of the Bitcoin network, we're going to pay off the national debt, and so why wouldn't that be in the interest of the United States? Addressing concerns about Bitcoin's notorious volatility, Saylor pointed to its historical long-term gains, asserting, I don't think anybody's ever lost money in the Bitcoin network holding for 4 years. Presumably, you want to buy Bitcoin, you want to hold it for 100 years. Right. Buy it young. The proposal for a crypto reserve is still in its infancy, and Saylor indicated that its success will depend heavily on legislative decisions made in the coming months. There are a dozen people on it: the head of the Treasury, the SEC, the CFTC, Commerce and Attorney General, the President, both the Republicans and Democrats, he noted, emphasizing the diverse range of opinions that will influence its outcome. At the time of writing, Bitcoin has found support around $84,000 after posting losses of 7% and 6% over the last 24 hours and 7 days, respectively. Yeah, and there's the current chart. So Saylor talking about $200 trillion market cap and $10 million Bitcoin. Now, he's not the only whale. We're talking about the largest asset manager in the world, BlackRock. They have now come out and issued a Bitcoin supply shock warning that says there's not enough coins for U.S. millionaires. This is what we've been talking about. The supply shock is coming. And when the millionaires come looking for Bitcoin, there's going to be none left. So everybody's coming after your Bitcoin. They're going to start paying anything for your Bitcoin. The largest asset manager in the world says there's not enough Bitcoin to meet the demand from American millionaires. In a new report titled Why Bitcoin? A Perspective from Model Portfolio Builders, BlackRock analyst Michael Gates and Brett Wager details how Bitcoin is inelastic to demand, unlike gold. Sure, because gold has a relative supply, and Bitcoin has absolute supply, limited supply. Gold, they keep finding approximately 1% to 2% more gold a year, so that's where we come up with relative supply, relative scarcity. And Bitcoin, there is 100% scarcity. Unlike the yellow metal, the analysts point out that BTC has no ability to meet excess demand with increased supply, as its supply is hard capped and its inflation schedule is already set in stone. As many know, there is a predictable issuance schedule of new Bitcoin until 2140, with a pre-programmed max supply of 21 million tokens. However, less widely known is that the real available float is likely far smaller, with a conservative estimate of 3 to 4 million issued Bitcoins visible on the blockchain but considered permanently inaccessible and therefore out of circulation due to lost, forgotten, or otherwise destroyed keys. I've been talking about the same thing. There's 21 million supply, but I've been saying there's about 5 million that have been lost. Max Kaiser alone says he lost 1 million bitcoins way back in the day in a boating accident. So, we've covered stories where early miners lost what amounts now to billions of dollars, and they're trying to get into the city dumps to try and find their hard drive that their girlfriend threw away back in the day. So, these are the big stories you hear. So imagine all the little people. I have a friend who called me and said, "Do you know how I can get into my account? I'm pretty sure I have 0.41 Bitcoin, but now and of course they didn't. This was years ago, and they got it for free. They said, but now they can't get into an account. So how many millions of these people are there, right? To illustrate how few available Bitcoins there are, if every millionaire in the U.S. asked their financial advisor to get them 1 Bitcoin, there wouldn't be enough. BlackRock says that the Model Portfolio Solutions team sees several substantive arguments that support Bitcoin's long-term investment merit, namely to potentially serve as a novel store of value and global monetary alternative, hedge to the U.S. dollar hegemony and political instability, and proxy play on the broader offline to online digital transition of goods and services, supercharged by boomer to millennial demographic tailwinds. Collectively, these features may help provide unique and additive sources of risk premia and diversification to traditional multi-asset portfolios. So, in a nutshell, there ain't enough Bitcoin to go around, folks. Not even for every millionaire. What do they say? Every millionaire in the States wanted one. Sorry, there isn't enough. So, HODL. We've gone through these stories, and we've also talked about Saylor, who explicitly said, and I've said this before, if he doesn't know of anybody who hasn't gained money if they hodled Bitcoin for more than one cycle, so 4 years. And, of course, he said, funny enough, buy Bitcoin and hold for 100 years. So, make sure you buy it when you're, 1 year old, and just hodl. Tell your kids, hodl. Regardless, he obviously is exaggerating. He's a single guy. I don't know what he's going to do with his Bitcoin when he's old and gray. But, he's on the right track. Hodl through the cycles, and you should make money trying to time the market, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's traditional financial market stocks. Trying to hodl, nobody says do it. Trying to time the market, everybody says don't try and time the market. A much better approach, as we've always talked about financial literacy in this show, take a small percentage monthly, put it into whatever financial asset you deem valuable. And I've always suggested, Bitcoin, gold, silver, and if you want to enter the stock market, then go with Vanguard's Total Index Fund, which follows the S&P 500, which only takes a 0.03% management fee. All the other fund managers are raping you with their fees. We're talking management fees between 2 and 4%, and then you've got Vanguard 0.03. Now, don't owe the banks money. If at all possible, don't throw your money into credit cards. Don't have debt. As it stands now, with this fractional reserve banking that the banks are allowed to do, effectively, if you give them $1, they can loan that $1 out as many as 20 times. So let's just talk a little bit about the word that people have heard before called bank runs, right? So what that means is if everybody all at once goes to the bank and says, I want my money, the bank won't have enough money to pay everybody back. So this is when banks go under. So at what point can you trust the bank? At what point can you not trust the bank? Your money is guaranteed up to a certain amount per branch. I believe it's $100,000 per branch. That's not per institution. It's multiple branches per institution. So you can have a TD account, and in one branch you can have $100,000, and down the street there's another branch, you can have another $100,000. And if there's 100 branches in your city, you can literally put $100,000 in each branch, and it's insured. However, I don't know to what level that is insured, because I know that if there is a bank run, the first people that are going to get the money are the primary creditors, which is not you or me, it's other banks. So, of course, you're not going to have your money under your mattress, but put a little faith in Bitcoin. Do your own research, see where it's gone historically, see where you might think it's going to go in the future. Watch shows like mine, watch other shows, they're littered all over the internet, and get a good perspective on yourself, learn some good financial literacy for yourself. Don't rely on financial advisors who are simply out to get your money. You go in there with a big chunk of cash and they're smiling from ear to ear because they're waiting for their commission. Learn more yourself. That's the way to go. And then you can make an educated guess as to where you want to put your money, where you want to safely put your money, where you want to invest your money. If you're young, you want to invest in higher risk things. When you're old, you want to invest in much less riskier things because you're actually going to use the money at that time. If you're young, you've got 20, 30 years where you can do your investments, make big chunks on a little bit more volatile things, and you hope that, and they will generally over time. Everything goes up over time. It goes up and down day to day, but over time, if you look at the S&P for the past 100 years, it has always gone up. If you look at the long-term chart, it's up. It might be down today. It might be up tomorrow. It might be down 3 days in a row, 5 days in a row. But if you look overall, it always goes up. When things go backwards and there's a dip, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's the traditional financial markets, buy the dip. You're buying something on sale. And I've said it before, if there's a sale at Best Buy, there's a lineup down the street. When there's a sale on the stock market or in Bitcoin, nobody's buying it. It just doesn't make sense. When the price goes down, you can buy more of the exact same thing. Don't sell and freak out. Bitcoin's not going anywhere. The S&P 500 is not going anywhere. It's time when things go down, it's time to buy more. Have a little money left on the side so you can afford to buy the dip. And when things dip, you're already buying in a profitable position at a low price. So when things, a couple days later go back up, you're already in the green. If you're buying at the top, like half the people out there who are just following the sheep, who are, oh my God, Bitcoin, did you hear? Bitcoin's at 100,000. They say it's going to go to 1 million. I'm going to buy it, right? With Bitcoin, maybe we're still early on it. But make no mistake, people buy the hype and be the smart person and buy the dip. Remember, everybody, like I've said, there's $900 trillion of assets in the world. Money is abundant. Money is everywhere. It's time that's scarce. So spend your time wisely. Spend less money than you earn. If you suddenly start making more money, save more money. Don't start spending more money. And start investing when you're young, ideally in your teens or early 20s, and hopefully you can retire when you're 40 or 45. If you've got a great idea, don't wait for tomorrow. Start today. Even if you're not ready, start your idea today. Things will slowly come together for you. I can guarantee it. And even if your great idea doesn't come to fruition for whatever reason, you'll have the satisfaction that you at least tried. If you don't try, you'll always have this overhanging guilt saying, I wish I did this, I wish I did this. Well, it's better to try and fail than to have this regret, maybe forever. This year, I'm planning on having over 500 subscribers, and I would love it if you guys subscribed and join me on this journey to over 500 subscribers. If you found this stream enjoyable, please share, like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you on the next stream. Folks, thanks so much for joining.